All right, let's focus on a couple of macro issues and a lot of macro issues that will come ahead in this month and the next. We saw the GDP numbers, which were not flattering at all. There's a credit policy tomorrow, and of course the budget probably in another 40 days. Dr. Bimal Jalan, former Reserve Bank governor, joins us to give us a spin on how he sees things panning out. Dr. Jalan, are you getting a sense that clearly the economy has bottomed out? The stock markets have run away. Would you see FY15 itself being a year where we will, get to a 5.5% and maybe 6.5% in the year after?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't know about, whether it will take 6 months or 9 months, but the mood is good. Investment climate is good for us, from our point of view. And we have made a very good beginning. After so many years, we have a majority government which is accountable to us, which is in power, and let's hope it works out, So, yeah, I am very positive on the economy just now.
Dr. Jalan, hi, good morning. So what is the expectation from the credit policy this time around?
No, I can't comment on the RBI credit policy, but this time around I would feel that, we have twin problems, as you know, and you must have discussed at great length, inflation and growth. But given the present environment, speaking as an observer of the scene, I would say that I would give weight to growth just now, because the atmosphere is good, and if growth takes place, then supplies will increase, manufacturing production will increase, and I think that would have a positive impact on our inflationary environment. So at the moment, that would be as an observer of the scene, I don't know what the RBI will do. Let's wait and watch. Tomorrow we would know.
Dr. Jalan, actually the accent seems to be on inflation. Rajan has made it clear through the Urjit Patel report that he would like inflation, consumer inflation at 8% in Jan and at 6% the following Jan, that is 2016. And actually overnight, Arun Jaitley, the finance minister, has also put out a Facebook and a Twitter note saying that he's on the same page, or almost indicating. I could just read out that quote for you. He says India must...
No, you don't have to.
Okay. Well, he seems to be indicating that... yeah, go ahead, sir.
No, the point I want to make is very good, that the Ministry of Finance and the RBI are on the same page, and so are we, all of us. We want inflation to be lower, and we want inflation to, there's no target for inflation per se, but we want inflation to be at least not increase, and I am hopeful that that will happen. The reason why I was saying between the growth and inflation, that inflation has been a problem earlier, inflation is a problem now, but the environment has improved, and if you see more growth taking place, then I have no doubt in my mind that inflation would come down. The only problem is the food prices. Food prices, how do you control if there is El Nino? And there we need a whole package of measures which are independent of the monetary policy to increase supply of food. So what I'm trying to get to you is that there are three different policy instruments that we need to work on in order to reconcile any trade-off between growth and inflation. There is, of course, monetary policy, there is fiscal policy, and above all these two, so far as growth is concerned, it is the investment policy of the government. And if the mood is good, and then I think we will get it. And so far as food is concerned, similarly, it's the policy part.
Okay.
We have high stocks. We can import if we like. So let's get on with it.
Yeah, no, Dr. Jalan, Jaitley's tweet, in particular, I wanted to read that one sentence to you. We must move towards an era of fiscal discipline where we can reduce the fiscal deficit, contain inflation and improve upon growth rates. That seems to indicate that he will respect the vote on account target of 4.1%. Do you think getting to a fiscal deficit lower than 4.5%, which was reported for FY14, is absolutely necessary for getting inflation under control? And if you agree, then what should be the method to do that?
No, you see, it's fiscal policy of 0.2%, 0.3%. I don't place too much importance or weightage to that. But if you have announced a fiscal policy target, and you should try and stick to it. But whether it is 4.1 or 4.3, that doesn't matter. That the people won't worry about. But if it is instead of 4.1 or 4.3, if it is 6%, then there is a problem. You see what I mean? I mean, therefore, you know, I mean, these things don't go into decimal 1 or decimal 2. And you need a broader policy package to increase supplies of grains in our system, and we have the ability to do it. You need a monetary policy which will help, but monetary policy at the moment, the task is to encourage manufacturing output, and the task at the moment is to try and take the maximum advantage of the positive environment for investment and growth. At the moment, you know, today. What the RBI would do, I don't know, by the way. I mean, it is as an observer of the scene, and I may be absolutely wrong, that's another matter. But at the moment, I mean, that is my priority.
No, also, Dr. Jalan, on this issue of fuel subsidies or under-recoveries, what is your assessment of how the new government will take it forward? Because, you know, complete diesel deregulation may need a lot more steps on the policy front, but how do you see the new government go through with this? Or in your assessment, what should be the steps taken?
No, we should proceed slowly. But, I mean, there is no doubt in my mind that we have to proceed slowly, that there is part of the subsidy regime which has to be done. But there is the other part which that doesn't need. I mean, if it benefits the better off classes, the kind of subsidies, and we have large number of programs. So I hope the government would go into all these 100 schemes and decide where we need subsidy which benefits the people. Food subsidy, for example, and or, you know, the PDS distribution system making more effective. I mean, as you know, I mean, there is a large amount of diversion of grain from PDS, which costs a lot of money. I mean, for every year, you know all that. I mean, you know, for every rupee you give to the BPL population, you are spending 2 rupees 36 paise or something, according to Planning Commission. So, you know, why do we need all? So we need to administer the subsidy regime for the benefit of the poor in a way that administrative costs are minimum and diversion, corruption is the least that we can make it.
Would you...
The task ahead is, you know, I mean... Sorry, yeah, please go ahead.
No, I was just wondering if you will extend this argument even to NREGS. Would you advise, or do you see the government making it, you know, more productivity oriented or asset creation oriented?
No, I don't want to advise, or I can't foresee what the government will do, but there is simply no doubt that if you are providing jobs, that we must make it productive, and it can be done. And what stops it, tell me? I mean, you know, if there is a political will at the ground level, and supposing, for instance, I mean, if you decentralize and you simply say that you go ahead and provide NREGP or NREGA or whatever it is, and we will reimburse after, you know, reimburse you, say, X amount of money depending on what works have been done.
Okay.
Do you see what I mean?
Yes, get it. I mean, one assumes something like that is coming in the way, because even the accounts have been now decentralized for NREGS. I guess that would be top on the government's mind. Thank you very much, Dr. Jalan, for joining us.
No, not at all. Pleasure.
Okay, so that's 2 or 3 key takeaways. Improving the administration of food security, which I think is axiomatic, that's motherhood. But importantly, you know, reimbursing NREGS, depending on how much asset is created, that can straight away, you know, reduce fiscal deficit and make definitely gains in productivity. But the important point is Dr. Jalan is almost saying that there should be a rate cut.
Yes.
And he's saying his accent
growth versus inflation is,
We'll have to see whether that argument will be preferred at all.
All right.